Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And if you're a true General Hospital fan, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get started with today's video. General Hospital, GH, spoilers for Monday, July 20th indicate that Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros, and Jack Brennan, Chris McKenna, will have a wild night, while Willow Kane, Caitlin McMullen, and Harrison Chase, Josh Swickard, may go on a mini vacation. A new hot week in Port Charles begins on July 20th, as July sweeps continue. First, Lulu Spencer, Alexa Havens-Bruning, will meet with her ex-father-in-law, and the woman will reveal a shocking truth. Lulu is shown in the GH promo for Monday's show telling Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Benard, that Jason didn't shoot director Cullum on the pier that night. Sonny looks stunned, and it sounds like Lulu tells him that Rocco Falconeri, Fincar, was the one who pulled the trigger on Ross Cullum, Andrew Hawks, but what's the reason for Lulu's sudden confession? Meanwhile, General Hospital teasers for July 20th reveal that Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, will be unsettled as Valentine Cassadine, James Patrick Stewart, maintains his position. Valentine claimed on the Friday, July 17th broadcast that he has a black bag full of WSB secrets, startling Carly. He assumed it was Cullum's and that he could negotiate his bank accounts being unfrozen with the agency, but little did he know it was Brennan's. Carly may wish to get the black case out of her house as soon as possible, or she may beg Valentine to quit playing espionage games. Valentine seemed to be adamant about the issue. Across town, someone will ask Tracy Quartermaine, Jane Elliott, a favor, and all signs point to Cody Bell, Josh Kelly. Tracy is seen in the stables on the July 20th episode, asking, "What's the catch?" Perhaps Cody is requesting to borrow one of the Quartermaine horses as a surprise to encourage James West, Gary James Fuller, to loosen up on him. Tracy won't be the only one asked for a favor. Molly Lansing Davis, Kristen Vaganos, will turn to Mayor Laura Collins, Jeannie Francis. Molly will ask Laura for aid with something, most likely the lawsuit against Jen Sidwell, Carol Rhoda. General Hospital spoilers for Monday's episode state that Ezra Boyle, Daniel Cosgrove, gets taken to the station. During the promotional video, Detective Joe Fitzpatrick, Jonathan Bennett, says, "You don't have anything to hide, right?" Ezra ended up saving Joe's life, but that doesn't mean he won't face consequences for attempting to assist Sidwell in his escape, right? Meanwhile, Nina is dressed in a robe and accuses Brennan of being a disgusting pig. The two had a hot kiss in the July 17th episode, but will they perform the deed? Does Brennan make a terrible comment in the aftermath that puts Nina off? They are in Willow's home during this conversation, which would explain a spoiler implying that the Congresswoman will have an unpleasant realization. Does Willow come in on them? Willow won't stop there. She'll approach Chase and ask if he wants to travel away to Washington, D.C. I am with her. Brooklyn Quartermaine, Amanda Sutton, will not appreciate this notion. According to General Hospital previews, Chase may need to gracefully decline and use Phoebe Wilson, Lucia, and Luna Creighton as an excuse for his absence. Will Willow accept this or persist? Check out CDL on a frequent basis for the most recent General Hospital spoilers, updates, and news. The tension in Port Charles had been growing for weeks, like a storm cloud hanging low over the town, ready to wreak havoc on everyone caught in its wake. Willow Corinthos, caught in the swirl of her convoluted existence as a congressman and mother embroiled in custody disputes and personal betrayals, felt the weight of it all bear down on her. The recent breakup with her family, the lingering shadows of her previous mistakes, and the relentless attention from the press had drained her. Despite the chaos, there was one constant that provided a shred of normalcy: Harrison Chase. Willow stood in her kitchen on Monday morning, peering out the window at the busy streets below. The sun shone through the curtains, creating a pleasant brightness that did little to relieve the knot in her gut. She'd spent the night repeating conversations in her thoughts, notably those with her mother, Nina Reeves, and the mysterious Jack Brennan. Secrets had a tendency of surfacing in this town, and Willow knew hers were dangerously close to being revealed. But today, she needed an escape, even if it was only for a little while. Washington, D.C. appealed to her, a quick trip to conduct some congressional business, but also a chance to clear her mind and possibly reunite with Chase away from the prying eyes of Port Charles. She picked up the phone and dialed Chase's number, her fingers quivering slightly. When he spoke, his voice was warm and tinged with the usual concern that always made her heart skip a beat. "Hey, Willow. Everything okay?" "Chase, I was thinking, how would you feel about getting away for a bit? Just a quick getaway to DC with me. We could leave today, make it a mini-adventure. No drama, no interruptions. What do you say?" Her words came out faster than she intended, hope threading through them. There was a pause at the other end. Chase, the dedicated detective and family man, sighed quietly. He was still dealing with his own complications, particularly with Brooklyn Quartermain and the delicate balance of co-parenting tiny Phoenix, who was affectionately known in family circles as Phoebe. "Willow, that sounds tempting. Really. But with everything going on here, the station, the kids, I don't think I can swing it right now. Maybe we can plan something soon, though." Willow's heart fell, but she pressed on, her congressional instincts kicking in to persuade. "Come on, Chase. It's just a couple of days. We deserve this. After all the mess with Michael, Drew, and everything else, don't you think we owe ourselves some time? Washington has this energy, museums, quiet walks. We could talk, really talk, without the whole town watching." As she spoke, recollections came flooding back. Their shared past and unmistakable chemistry had brought them together despite the challenges. Chase had been her support throughout the custody battles, disclosures about her origins, and the political demands that came with her position. But Brooklyn's shadow hung huge. She would not appreciate this invitation, and Chase knew it. He softly declined again, citing family duties, but the hesitation in his voice indicated he was divided. Willow persisted lightly, indicating that they might make it work, but she could feel the distance between them expanding. Meanwhile, Nina Reeves was navigating her own whirlwind in Willow's house, where tensions had a history of exploding in the most inconvenient ways. Nina emerged from a sensual rendezvous with Jack Brennan, the former WSB director whose charm concealed layers of danger and deception, wrapped in a silk robe, her hair tousled from the night's passions. The kiss they had shared days before had sparked something wild, a distraction from her concerns about Willow's legal issues and the custody fights that threatened to tear her family apart. But when the morning light came in, reality hit hard. Brennan lounged on the edge of the bed, a smug look on his lips as he buttoned up his shirt. "Last night was enlightening, Nina. You know, with the right alliances, we could turn this town upside down." Nina's eyes tightened, anger rising as she grasped the robe closer. The afterglow had dissipated, replaced by revulsion at his careless disregard for the consequences. "You disgusting pig," she exclaimed, her voice sharp enough to break glass. "How dare you act like this is some game? We almost got arrested trying to protect Willow, and here you are, treating everything like it's another one of your spy maneuvers. Get out of my daughter's house before she walks in and sees this mess." Brennan laughed, unaffected, which only fueled Nina's anger. Their night had been wild, full of whispered secrets and ardent embraces, but his post-coital remarks, implying that they could use their relationship against Drew or others in the tangled web of Port Charles power plays, turned her stomach. Nina was not one to shy away from manipulation, but this felt different and dirtier. She had lately poured her heart out to him, seeking consolation despite Willow's impending prison sentence, and now regret swept over her like a tidal wave. "Disgusting pig," she said louder this time, pointing to the door. "You think you can waltz in here, kiss me like that, and then talk about bargaining with WSB secrets or freezing accounts? This isn't your playground, Brennan. Willow's life is hanging by a thread, and you're playing games." He stood, carefully arranging his jacket. "Feisty as ever, Nina. That's what I like about you. But don't pretend you didn't enjoy it. We both know the score in this town. Alliances shift, and sometimes you have to get your hands dirty." As Brennan left, Nina slumped into the bed, her mind racing. Willow had an unpleasant revelation later that day when she returned home unexpectedly, discovering minor indications of the encounter: rumpled linens, a misplaced cufflink on the floor. Willow's face turned pale as she pieced it together. What about her mother and Brennan? In her home? The Congresswoman had a sense of betrayal and sickness. How could Nina take such a risk, especially now? The day unfolded in parallel dramas. Lulu Spencer, the bearer of painful truths, delivered a bombshell that left Sonny Corinthos reeling. Jason didn't shoot Director Cullum on the pier that night, she admitted, her voice firm despite the seriousness. Sonny's eyes widened in surprise, the consequences reverberating across his criminal empire and familial connections. Rocco Falconeri's participation brought another layer of pain, requiring Sonny to confront protection and justice in ways that strained his resolve. Carly Spencer, meanwhile, grappled with Valentine Cassidy's firm attitude on the mysterious black bag containing WSB secrets. Carly, shaken by the revelations, advised him to cease his plots, but Valentine refused, viewing them as leverage against Brennan and others. Their confrontation was fraught with old chemistry and new threats, emphasizing the spy games that never fully ceased in Port Charles. Tracy Quartermain regarded Cody Bell with distrust as he begged for a favor, perhaps borrowing a horse to settle matters with James West. "What's the catch?" Tracy challenged, her sharp wit piercing Cody's charm. She grudgingly accepted it, knowing that such requests frequently taxed the Quartermain's resources, but her curiosity about his motivations persisted. Molly Lansing Davis approached Mayor Laura Collins for assistance, which was most likely related to the Jen Sidwell issue. Laura, ever the diplomat, provided counsel while juggling her own mayoral responsibilities. Detective Joe Fitzpatrick questioned Ezra Boyle about his role in Sidwell's escape attempt. "You don't have anything to hide, right?" The tension was evident, as alliances crumbled under examination. Back with Willow and Chase, the invitation to the vacation remained in the air like unfinished business. Willow, unconcerned about Chase's initial hesitation, met him later at a quiet cafe. The talk progressed from mild niceties to deeper disclosures. She spoke openly about the responsibilities of Congress, her custody concerns with Michael and Drew, and her desire for someone who saw her beyond the controversies. Chase listened closely, his detective instincts sensing her fragility. Though he emphasized his obligations, the chemistry between them was unmistakable. "DC might be too much right now," he confessed, "but maybe a drive out of town. Just us could work. No promises, but let's see." Their conversation lasted throughout the afternoon, weaving among memories of previous crimes Chase had solved and Willow's political achievements. She highlighted the draw of the Capitol, the monuments at twilight, the cerebral buzz of policy meetings, and how sharing it with him could provide a fresh start. Chase responded with anecdotes about his life as a cop, the hazards that made unplanned travels risky, and his blossoming friendship with Brooklyn's group. However, as the sun went down, he softened, hinting at possibilities. Brooklyn would definitely hear rumors, causing jealousy, but the moment was theirs. Nina, who had just had an outburst with Brennan, went to see Willow that evening. The mother-daughter relationship was riddled with love and anger. Nina apologized for the disruption, stating that her involvement with Brennan was a desperate attempt to protect Willow in the midst of her legal troubles. "He's useful, but I see him for what he is now, a pig who'll use anyone." Willow's awareness grew stronger. Witnessing the aftermath had destroyed her mother's trustworthiness. They debated passionately about limits, family loyalty, and the cost of secrets, but beneath it all was a tremendous protectiveness. Nina resolved to fight for Willow's freedom, even if it meant confronting Brennan again. As darkness fell, the characters' paths crossed in subtle ways. Sonny carefully considered his next steps after hearing Lulu's disclosure. Carly handled Valentine's stubbornness, while her own secrets bubbled up to the surface. Tracy considered Cody's suggestion, wondering about the larger plots at work. Molly and Laura's meeting laid the groundwork for future partnerships against Sidwell. Willow and Chase's probable escape represented hope in the midst of the storm, an opportunity to break free from the never-ending cycle of betrayal and peril. However, in Port Charles, nothing remained easy. Brennan, unfazed by Nina's remarks, remained in the shadows, his thoughts focused on larger plots involving the WSB briefcase and shifting powers. Nina paced her room, hating her mistake but bracing herself for the challenges ahead. The day had been full of confrontations and quiet invitations. Willow's persistence with Chase suggested that relationships were evolving, whilst Nina's violent dismissal of Brennan highlighted the explosive personal entanglements that defined life in town. As the credits rolled on this drama episode, viewers knew there were more twists to come. Custody disputes, political scandals, and romantic reckonings that might upend everything. Port Charles is bracing for another dramatic day as emotions run high and long-buried tensions threaten to erupt. Monday, July 20th promises romance, treachery, and shocking encounters that could alter some people's lives forever. Willow and Chase experience an unexpected moment of calm amidst the craziness that surrounds their relatives and friends. After weeks of emotional pressure and difficult decisions, the couple decides to take a short break. Although the trip is supposed to give much-needed leisure, both understand that fleeing Port Charles is seldom as easy as it appears. Willow has been carrying a huge emotional burden. The recent challenges in her personal life have made her reconsider several of her decisions. Spending time apart allows her to clear her head and focus on what is actually important. Chase, who is usually supportive and protective, hopes that the break would allow Willow to find her happiness. They feel optimistic as they prepare for their vacation. They have warm and sincere chats, reminding each other of the value of family, trust, and devotion. However, significant concerns persist. Both recognize that unresolved difficulties await them back home, and there is a strong risk that their calm escape will be disrupted by unexpected news. Meanwhile, tensions grow drastically in Port Charles as Nina reaches her breaking point. Nina is never one to be silent when she believes someone has crossed the line, and this time her rage is directed firmly at Brennan. A furious argument ensues between the two, and Nina does not hold back her emotions. She lashes out at Brennan, calling him a disgusting pig, in response to recent discoveries and his actions. Her violent comments express not just her rage, but also her profound disappointment and frustration. Brennan, who has gotten increasingly involved in perilous situations and questionable judgments, appears taken aback by Nina's strong reaction. Despite his attempts to defend himself, Nina will not listen. She believes that his actions have created unnecessary anguish and difficulty for those she cares about. The confrontation swiftly turns into one of the most dramatic moments of the day. Nina's emotions have been building up for some time, and she finally lets them out. Her accusations put Brennan in an awkward position as he tries to justify his behavior. Those closest to the crisis may soon be obliged to take sides. Nina's strong beliefs and drive may affect others, resulting in even greater splits within Port Charles. Brennan, on the other hand, may become further isolated if he is unable to heal the harm done. Secrets continue to spread around the town. Several residents are keeping crucial facts secret, and it appears that the truth will eventually be revealed. Port Charles has long been a city where secrets are rarely kept, and Monday's events could pave the way for huge discoveries in the coming days. Family relationships remain strained as loved ones deal with trust issues and sad memories. Some characters seek forgiveness, while others are determined to shield themselves from future grief. The emotional stakes continue to escalate as everyone faces difficult decisions. Willow's getaway with Chase provides a temporary respite from these complications. During their time together, they reflect on the problems they've overcome and discuss their future goals. The quiet settings help them to reconnect and improve their relationship. However, there is also an undercurrent of uncertainty. Willow senses that huge changes are on the way, and she is unable to relax entirely. Her instincts warn her that critical decisions await her when she comes home. Chase, for his part, is still determined to help Willow in any way he can. He wants to make her feel protected and respected, especially after everything she has been through. Their chats show how much they appreciate each other and how motivated they are to continue forward despite the challenges in their way. Nina's rage remains simmering in Port Charles, despite her showdown with Brennan. She replays the exchange in her memory, confident that she was right to vent her fury. However, she is also aware that her actions may have ramifications. Nina has spent most of her life coping with betrayal and despair. As a result, she is impatient with those she perceives are dishonest or deceptive. Her harsh words toward Brennan are the result of years of emotional scars and a strong desire to protect those she cares about. Brennan, on the other hand, may not be so easily convinced by Nina's charges. He could try to explain his motivations or offer information that alters the whole scenario. If that happens, Nina may have to reassess her position. The prospect of unforeseen revelations keeps everyone on edge. In Port Charles, alliances can change swiftly, and today's adversaries can become partners tomorrow. The occupants' intricate ties ensure that nothing is straightforward for long. Other Port Charles residents are likewise struggling with personal issues and complex emotions. Friendships are tested, romantic relationships are uncertain, and family members try to negotiate challenging situations. As rumors circulate and tensions rise, many people start to wonder what the future holds. Some hope for peace and healing, while others dread more heartache and conflict. The events of Monday have highlighted the emotional complexity that has always defined life in Port Charles. Characters must confront their emotions, make difficult decisions, and face the repercussions of their actions. Willow and Chase's escape may symbolize optimism and healing, but it also serves as a reminder that tranquility is frequently fleeting. Their time together could deepen their relationship, yet unresolved difficulties remain in the background.